got you updated. This is Radio Manzi News in English.
Radio Imanzi, broadcasting from Kigali. Here is the news in English, brought to you by Fiona Umuganwa. The headlines. Prime Minister Dr. Edward Ngirente presided over the official opening of Nyandungu Eco Park. Rwanda says it is investing in transitioning from internal combustion engine buses to electric buses. The Northern Corridor Council of Ministers has approved a $5.53 million budget for the 2022-2023 financial year. Welcome back. Now news in detail. The Prime Minister, Dr. Edward Ngirente, presided over the official opening of Nyandungu Eco Park, the first public recreational and touristic facility of its kind in Kigali. The 121-hectare park features a medicinal garden, a Pope's garden, 5 catchment ponds, 3 recreation ponds, an information center, a restaurant, as well as 10 kilometers of walkways and bike lanes. Former Austrian Chancellor Georg Gosenbaugh has said that his country is willing to deepen its cooperation with Rwanda in different sectors, and that so far Austrian investors in Rwanda are satisfied with the way they are doing business. He made the remarks during the signing of a €7.5 million finance agreement between Rwanda and Unicredit Bank Austria for the construction of a TVET Center of Excellence that will be located in Kigali Special Economic Zone. This is the first soft loan from Austria to Rwanda, and according to Gosenbaugh, it goes into a project of significance. The school will be set up and equipped using technology from the Austrian market. The Center of Excellence will enable establishment of a modern and high-efficient dual training program, which will be a model for industrial academia linkages that allows exchange of training facilities such as workshops and equipment for mutual benefits. It will also allow students to learn and acquire modern and high-tech skills being applied in industry and aligned to the current and future technologies and innovations, exchange of academic staff and industrial sector experts between the school and companies to enhance the skills needed for the modern labor markets. Speaking after the signing ceremony, the Minister of Finance and Economic Planning, Uzziel Ndagijimana, noted that establishment of the TVET Center of Excellence will boost Rwanda's existing initiatives towards the implementation of skills development in the industrial zone through TVET. The Minister of Education, Valentine Uwamadiya, has urged candidates and supervisors to avoid any form of malpractice during national exams. She was speaking today at the official opening of the primary leaving examinations that took place at GS Nyagasambu School in Rwamagana District. The minister said that in past years there were some cases where teachers would help candidates in exams, and now they don't want any malpractice such as cheating. She went on to wish candidates luck, urging them not to panic as they sit for their national exams. According to the National Examination and School Inspection Authority, NESA, a total of 229,859 students are expected to sit for primary leaving examinations for the academic year 2021-2022, which runs from July 18th to 20th. Commenting on the number of the candidates sitting for the exams this year, the minister observed that the figure has declined compared to last year. However, she explained that the decrease is not a result of dropout cases or COVID-19 effects. It is only that the number of students who are completing primary 6 are lesser than last year. Rwanda says it is investing in transitioning from internal combustion engine buses to electric buses. The move is expected to cement the country's ambition of curbing pollutant emissions from road traffic. Yvette Rudasingwa has this report.
Under the development, the government is looking to incentivize investors through reducing electric tariff for charging stations to the industry tariff level, while electric vehicle parts, batteries and charging equipment are also exempted from import and excise duties. 40% of the total emissions from the transport sector. Perengusi Climate Action Transparent Sector specialist at REMO said these statistics increase the importance of transitioning to e-mobility as planned in the National Climate Action Plan. He said that the move also comes at a time when pollutant emissions from road traffic has also increased significantly in the city of Kigali, leading to concern of poor air quality. According to Rwanda Development Board, under non-fiscal incentives, bus operators and electric vehicle companies have also been allowed to use the rent-free government-owned land for setting up charging stations. Companies manufacturing and assembling electric vehicles, battery electric vehicles, plug-in hybrid electric vehicles, and hybrid electric vehicles in Rwanda are also given other incentives in investment code such as 15% corporate income tax CIT and tax holiday, respective of the investment value.
Rwanda is said to roll out flood sensors countrywide to strengthen the early warning system. Installing flood sensors on rivers, drainages and lakes is among the investments that Rwanda is making to manage and control the effects of stormwater surface water in abnormal quantities resulting from heavy falls of rain that results in floods. The move is based on the fact that Rwanda loses over 204 billion Rwandan francs due to disasters such as floods and landslides as a result of lacking effective stormwater management. Manzi Prince has this report.
Disasters, mainly floods and landslides, killed about 100 people and injured 195 from January to mid-October last year. At least 107 people were killed by disasters from January to April this year alone. The flood sensors will be updating us in between every 5 and 15 minutes about water levels, quantity, depth and the speed of the stormwater in rivers and drainages, says Davis Bujingo, the Flood Management and Water Storage Development Division Manager at the Rwanda Water Resources Board. He said, with that, they will be able to warn people so that they leave a certain place because it might be affected by floods at the moment. Bujingo revealed that procurement is going on in Kigali City to install flood sensors on between 10 and 15 places known to have rivers and drainages that are known to be sources of floods in the capital. They are targeting areas where stormwater converges to cause floods. He said they have identified catchments such as those of Rwandex, Rugunga, Gikondo, Kinamba, Nyabugogo, Nyamirambo and others. And by next year, the flood sensors will have been installed in Kigali City. At least $2 million from the Rwanda Urban Development Project, financed by the World Bank, could be spent to procure flood sensors and the hydrological stations in Kigali City. The system will also help owners of buildings. The system will also help owners of the buildings to know the flood status for better decisions and enhance the infrastructure's resilience. Bujingo disclosed that flood sensors in another project apart from the urban development project have been installed on major rivers and lakes across the country. He said they have been installed on Sabia River, one of the rivers that usually causes floods in Western Province. The government has also been constructing dams to contain flooding caused by this river under the support of the International Union for Conservation of Nature. The flood sensors, he added, have again been installed on rivers Muvumba, Akanyaru, Rusizi, Mukungwa, and Nyabarongo that usually cause loss of lives and damage of properties. They are still installing more in other places. Last week, the city of Kigali announced that over $1 million is said to be invested in developing the Kigali Stormwater Management Master Plan that is expected to be complete by 2024 so as to mitigate floods in the city. Wijingo explained that managing stormwater requires different interventions at different levels. He said centralized sewerage system in the city of Kigali starts from managing stormwater in neighborhoods. However, harvesting rainwater, according to Rwanda Water Resources Board, is just 17% across the country. Only 2% of the households use rainwater tanks. It would also make an investment outlay of $40 million to equip all identified public buildings with the rainwater storage system. To manage stormwater, Wijingo said that nature-based solutions are also needed. These include planting trees and vegetation on hills, along rivers and drainages to help reduce speed of runoff water to avoid flooding. In addition, he said, rehabilitating and conserving wetlands is needed since they retain and curb floods. The infrastructure such as roads and bridges, among others, should also be built in a way that they are resilient to floods.
Economic news is a regular feature on Radio Imanzi. Now the Rwanda Stock Exchange Market Report. Today's trading session recorded a total turnover of 30,880,000 Rwandan francs worth of bonds traded in 4 deals on the fixed income market and 1,033,500 Rwandan francs from 9,000 shares traded in 5 deals. I&M Bank closed the counter at 43 Rwandan francs. The trading session recorded a total turnover of 141,900 from 3,300 shares traded in 1 deal. Bredgwa closed the counter at 160 Rwandan francs. The trading session recorded a total turnover of 838,500 Rwandan francs from 5,400 shares traded in 3 deals. M10 Rwanda closed the counter at 177 Rwandan francs. The trading session recorded a total turnover of 53,100 Rwandan francs from 300 shares traded in 1 deal. Bank of Kigali closed the counter at 265 Rwandan francs. Simirwa at 120 Rwandan francs. Equity Bank at 440 Rwandan francs. Kenya Commercial Bank at 370 Rwandan francs. National Media Group at 1,200 Rwandan francs. Uchumi Supermarket at 104 Rwandan francs. And RH Buffalo closed the counter at 526 Rwandan francs as the market closed. The currency market review of today. The Kenyan shilling buying price was 8.5 Rwandan francs and the selling price was 8.7 Rwandan francs. Tanzanian shilling buying price was 0.43 Rwandan francs and the selling price was 0.44 Rwandan francs. Ugandan shilling buying price was 0.26 Rwandan francs and the selling price was 0.27 Rwandan francs. Burundian franc buying price was 0.49 Rwandan francs and the selling price was 0.5 Rwandan francs. The US dollar buying price was 1,016 Rwandan francs and the selling price was 1,036 Rwandan francs. The British pound buying price was 1,207 Rwandan francs and the selling price was 1,231 Rwandan francs. The euro buying price was 1,025 Rwandan francs and the selling price was 1,046 Rwandan francs.
Some items of international news on Radio Imanzi.
The East African community leaders are set to meet in Arusha, Tanzania from July 21st to 22nd. The leaders are to discuss on the progress made to establish the East African Community Common Market Protocol, the second pole of the bloc's integration agenda. Manzi Prince has more.
A communique by the East African Community Secretariat indicated that preparations were in high gear for the ESA Heads of State retreat on the ESA Common Market, as well as the 22nd Ordinary Summit of the East African Heads of State, scheduled from July 21st to 22nd at the Arusha International Conference Center in Arusha. In their high-level retreat, the ESA leaders are expected to discuss on the progress of establishment of the East African Common Market Protocol, adopt strategic measures to unlock the lags and the bottlenecks on the establishment of the common market, and agree on a roadmap for the full realization of the common market. The regional leaders will also identify key areas where development partners can contribute to the achievement of the common market. Last month, ESA Secretary General said that it was high time they take stock and reflect on whether the ESA Common Market Protocol is properly functional and on what it is that they need to do so that in the region the common market can benefit better. The protocol is on the establishment of the ESA Common Market, entered into force in July 2010, following ratification by all of the then 5 partner states: Burundi, Kenya, Rwanda, Tanzania, and Uganda. The common market, which is in line with the provisions of the East African Community Treaty, provides for 4 freedoms: the free movement of goods, labor, services, and capital. According to the East African Community Secretariat, about 300 participants from partner states, private sector, civil society, and development partners are expected to attend both the high-level retreat and the 22nd ESA summit. The communique by the Secretariat adds that at their 22nd ordinary meeting, the East African Community Heads of State will, among other things, consider the report of the Council to the summit, assent to bills passed by the East African Legislative Assembly, consider the report of the high-level summit retreat on the ESA Common Market, and appoint judges to the East African Courts of Justice. It is noted that on July 22nd, the heads of state are expected to launch the 42.4-kilometer Arusha Bypass Road. The bypass road is part of the multinational Arusha Holili Taveta Via Road project.
Some items of
The Northern Corridor Council of Ministers has approved a $5.53 million budget for the 2022-2023 financial year, with an eye on roads, rail and waterways projects as solutions to congestion. The Executive Committee approved $1.1 million more than it did in the past fiscal year for railway and inland water project expenditure. Tanzania has confirmed 20 cases of leptospirosis, a bacterial infection that has claimed 3 lives in the southern region of Lindi. The Health Minister Umi Mwalimu said test results from samples of patients in Ruangwa were positive for the disease. Health authorities in Ghana have officially confirmed 2 cases of the Marburg virus, a highly infectious disease similar to Ebola, after 2 people who later died tested positive for the virus earlier this month. According to the World Health Organization, tests conducted in Ghana came back positive on July 10th, but the results had to be verified by a laboratory in Senegal for the cases to be considered confirmed. African governments owe 3 times as much debt to private creditors in the West as they do to China, says a report by UK-based Debt Justice released this week. Using World Bank and International Monetary Fund data, Debt Justice estimates that 35% of the continent's external debt is owed to banks, asset managers and oil traders in the West, with Chinese lenders accounting for around 12%. Of the $444 billion in debt repayments that African governments will cough up between 2022 and 2028, $156 billion or 35% will go to these private creditors, compared with $83 billion due to China. With that, we come to the end of tonight's edition.